Assalamu alaikum guys. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be a weekly outlook video inda muka saba yi, wacce na saba yi every weekend ina ƙoƙarin na yi analysis akan some pairs wanda nake trading, wanda ya kama EU, Euro USD, Gold and BTC. So wannan DXY ne, kamar yadda kuka sani da shi nake fara kuɗi analysis ina, and last week we were here and I told you what I was anticipating this week. So wannan shine range inda muke ciki, from this high to this low is our major range. Wannan is just an internal range, then for continuation towards this high, which is our draw liquidity. So just like I said, last week was NFP. Wancan week din was NFP week, and we had this displacement. And I told you that wannan week in the muka fito, I'm anticipating an up close candle, but I want to see how price is going to fill the imbalance that NFPA creating. Then if there is a possibility for quick reaction, then za mu ga wannan candle din wannan week din da muka fito close as a bullish candle, which means I was anticipating this wannan week din da muka fito should fill this imbalance. Then if there is momentum, should align bullish, then close maybe above the range and for continuation. But then we had a bearish candle and we are still yet to fill in the imbalance completely. Saboda wannan supply zone don price bai zo at least the week of the supply zone, but and also this is an order block and price has not yet come for it, although it was very close, but it has not filled it. So you can see how this weekly candle ended. So on the weekly perspective, abinda nake anticipating shine price ya bamu wannan low din nan. So abinda nake anticipating for next week on the weekly time frame shine price ya sweeping din wannan low din previous week and tap into this area, then ya ban quick reaction and close bullish. That is what I'm anticipating next week. Saboda me, last week din nan da muka fito ya riga ya creating din accumulation then, so I want to see how this week is going to manipulate and continue just like it happened here. Mun samu wannan karamin imbalance then, so I want to see how next week is going to fill it completely, then align bullish for continuation towards this particular high or towards this high first. Wannan high then as the drawn liquidity for next week, then if possible mu zo ma wannan high then, but then next week I want to see a bullish candle filling this area. And also if we go down to the 4-hour time frames, it also makes sense. So the price they bamu wannan as a protected low, right? This is a protected low. Price ya zo very close to it amma bai filling ɗinsa ba, so it's also makes sense that next week me manipulating below the low of last week to tap into these areas. Wannan area din in particular on the 4-hour time frame kenan, I'm using this as my support area, then see Nigeria ina yake demand zone yawa, sai Nigeria price ya aligning bullish on the lower time frame for continuation to the upside. So Monday or Tuesday should manipulate towards this area, then for bullish continuation to the upside. On the daily time frame here, this is the daily time frame. So what I'm anticipating next week is for how the daily time frame is going to manipulate below this area and tap this key level. Then Tuesday maybe aligning, Wednesday, Thursday continue bullish to the upside, and even on the 4-hour time frame that actually it's also kind of makes sense to say the 4-hour time frame. On the area and then expecting price is out. Price can also come as deep as this because this is an inversion fair value gap. Let me label it as that inversion fair value gap a wajen nan. So price bai dawo yayi retesting din shi ba, and price ya bamu wannan as a liquidity area kenan. So what next week can do is za mu iya samun Monday ya bamu structure hakan nan coming to this area, then align bullish Tuesday, Wednesday continuation towards this high. So this is the overall draw on liquidity, but at first I want to see how price will completely fill this small imbalance that is here on the weekly time frame and also on the daily time frame to come into this area. And what can also happen is that za ku ga cewa market ya bada break of structure a wajen nan, sweep of liquidity a wajen nan. So market can just decide to start gravitating towards the outside, right? But if this happen, I will not be interested in longs until price close above this area. Then I will now zai zama range ina from here to here. I don't know if maybe you guys understand because it kind of makes sense, right? Kun ga wannan week ɗin da muka fita was CPI da PPI week, right? Wannan single candle ɗin nan is CPI and PPI ya pushing price towards the upside, but mun samu wani random fundamentals hakan nan shine pushing price ɗin nan coming towards this side, right? So abin da yake faruwa shine sometimes mutane suna yin confusing, right? Muna da inefficiency a wajen nan and we also have inefficiency a wajen nan, right? So what I want to see, because overall I'm bullish, right? What me particularly I want to see is for price to first come for this inefficiency, a sweeping on one previous week low, because she need closest liquidity in her, right, and tap into this area. Could be tapping one area then, but she should just feel one imbalance and they a weekly time frame, right? Then yamun aligning me, yamun aligning bullish, then I won't care about this inefficiency again. I will just continue buying to the upside. Although price is one and reacting something like this, but it's not going to hold. Price is absolutely going to continue to the upside. But idan next week ya buɗe and we see immediately price come for this support supply zone, because this is a supply zone. We took out liquidity our journal, right? We took out some form of liquidity and somewhat some kind of breakout our journal, although it's a sweep of liquidity, but then it is what it is, right? So what price can do is price can first decide to come for this high. So if I see price around this range without taking out this low, I'm not interested until price close bullish above here with a break of structure, not above the bodies, above the wick with a break of structure. Then range ina shine zai dawo tsakanin nan da this low. I will shift my attention to this high, to this low, completely fading this one. There will not be need for price to come back to this area again because we already have this as a protected low. So immediately price close above this area with a break of structure, not with a sweep of liquidity, with a break of structure, then this will be the new range, this high and this low, because this is a sweep of liquidity, right? And we have another break of structure. So what price can do is price can just come and mitigate this area and continue going to the upside without coming to this low, right? But another thing that can happen is that price can first, like immediately price open on Monday or Sunday evening, price can come and respect this area, right? So after respecting this area, then price zai iya zuwa ma wannan low ɗin haka, then align bullish again for continuation. I don't know if maybe you guys understand it. This is how me personally I'm looking at what can possibly happen next week, right? So the first scenario, which is the best scenario, is for price to first come and mitigate this area, align bullish for continuation. The second scenario is price should impulsively continue to the upside Monday, Tuesday bullish, all to close above this area. So if price close above this area, I will shift my range focus to this low and this high, then I'll find my confirmations within the area for continuation to the upside. Because if price break above this area, then there will be no need for it to come back zuwa cikin area ɗin nan. But idan price ya buɗe next week ya zo ma wannan high ɗin, then we are going to see be violating wannan high ɗin, but ya zo ya respecting wannan area ɗin, then price will more likely to come for this low, then sannan ya aligning bullish ya ci gaba da tafiya haka. Price ya zo ya ɗauki wannan area sai ya mana aligning bearish haka, to zai iya zuwa ma wannan low ɗin nan ya zo ya respecting ɗinsa, in ya ƙara aligning bullish kuma then will buy it. So I'm not going to participate on this. If the third scenario is what happened, I'm not going to participate on this counter trend. I'm just going to wait, see price as a wajen, and then I'll start buying aggressively to the upside. Three scenario for next week. So that's on the XY. So I'm just going to relate it on Euro USD, right? As you can see, Euro USD on the weekly time frame ga abin da ya faru kamar yadda kuka sani mun biyo shi ne tun daga wannan saman, having this as our protected high, and this is the range low that we want to see price take out, right? So price ya zo wancan week din ya bamu protected high a wajen nan, sannan wannan shine NFP week. If you have been following me, you know how we arrive at this area. So yanzu wannan low din nake nema yanzu nan next week, right? This the new range low, that's the CRT low, just a range low, right? I want to see how price is going to come for this area first, which is this coming week, right? Idan kuka kula za ku ga cewa wannan area din is still much valid, although an yi mitigating ɗinsa, an yi mitigating da wannan other block din, right? So what can happen is price can just decide to start like dropping aggressively, because this is an order block that price has already mitigated, right? But then it will also make sense actually next week. Kamar yadda kuka sani, I'm a CRT trader. I also trade CRT, right? So it will also make sense actually idan price ya buɗe next week ya yi taking ɗin high ɗin nan, because that's the most important thing I want to see. Price ya yi taking ɗin wannan high ɗin first, ya yi mitigating deep into this, but to close bearish, which is the weekly candle for next week. This is the best scenario for Euro USD, right? Weekly candle ya kulle ya buɗe haka. Let me design the candle that I want to see for next week, right? It doesn't necessarily have to like a completing the cycle ɗin gaba ɗaya na CRT, but idan da zan samu next week ya kulle haka, aha, to da ya ban the best wannan haka, just like yadda ya faru a sama. Wannan candle ɗin ba zai tsaya ba. Anyway, ya buɗe dai, just the weekly candle ya buɗe haka, ya yi mitigating wannan area ɗin, then ya dawo ya yi taking ɗin previous week high hakan nan, sannan ya dawo ya kulle either as a bullish or a bearish. Ya just kulle dai within the range, then the following week will continue bearish aggressive to the downside, giving us CRT kenan. So abinda nake expecting kenan next week, naga yanda price zai yi violating ɗin wannan high ɗin, ya ci wannan high ɗin, ya dawo ya kulle as a CR, as a contraction candle ɗin, completely going to the downside. But then it may not happen, right? It may not happen saboda price already ya riga ya yi sa wannan abin ya fita. Already price ya riga ya mitigating wannan order block ɗin, because this is an order block. Idan kuka kalla video ɗin order block ɗin da na yi, na nuna muku irin wannan order block ɗin da price zai mitigating ɗin week ɗinsa ta ƙasa and continue to the downside. So price can decide to like just open and start dropping aggressively. One, price can decide to like open, ya zo yi wannan mitigating ɗin wannan area ɗin, ya dropping. That is the best case scenario, right? Abinda nake so na gani kenan on the weekly time frame. So when we go into the daily time frame, za ku ga it also kind of makes sense. Wa'annan week ɗin price zai iya zuwa ya mitigating ɗinsu, because this is a rejection block a wajen nan, right? So if I'm like, and you can also see that price ya bamu wannan equal highs ɗin nan, which also makes sense. Wannan equal highs ɗin. So what can happen next week shine price zai iya zuwa ya yi sweeping ɗinsu Monday, Tuesday hakan nan, ko Monday, then align bullish and bearish for like start dropping to the downside. And if we go down to 4-hour time frame, za ku ga cewa nan wajen supply zone ne, but a higher time frame, which is the daily time frame, kun ga nan wajen is just a rejection block, right? So abinda nake expecting a daily time frame, yanda price zai zo ya yi mitigating wannan area din sai ya aligning bearish for continuation to the downside. And if you also look at it on the 4 hour time frame za ku ga cewa price yayi menene a wajen nan, yayi kind of accumulating. Kun ga area da nake gaya muku, it was a rejection block a higher time frame which is the daily time frame, but on the lower time frame kun ga da wajen ya fito as a what, as a supply zone. So price has not yet comes to it. Kamar yadda kuka sani last week abin da na ce muku ina anticipating was for price to open, accumulate, then manipulate into this area, then start to drop into the downside. So we are in the phase of the accumulation, right? So I'm looking for how to, like, wannan after accumulation din nan ina so na ga yanda price zai manipulating ya tapping wannan area din, ko wannan fair value gap din kadai ma aka filling ɗinsa, ko ba yi tapping supply zone din ba, idan aka ban change of character then I'll start selling something like this. Na ga yanda idan price ya buɗe sai price yake zuwa like yana approaching wannan area din gradually, right? Sai idan ya tapping ɗin area din nan anywhere within the area sai ya ban change of character aggressively, ba a hankali a hankali ba, aggressive change of character, to sai na yi mai consider selling from here like this. So that's what I'm looking for on the 4 hour time frame kenan. So that's it on Euro USD. Inshallah, I don't know if maybe you guys understand. So this is what where I'm going to pay attention to. And also one thing that price can also do, just like on the DXY, price can first come for this supply zone. Although kunga and some SMT diversion ni DXY taking the one low, but Euro USD failed to take out the low. So that's why price came for this high. And some SMT divergence abin da yake faruwa kenan. Kunga price ya zo ya dauki wannan sama. So one thing that can happen next week, if idan kaga price ya bude immediately ya zo ma wannan low din nan, bai taking din wannan low din ba, idan aka yi taking low din nan da weak of structure, then I'll start looking for my trade within this high and this new break of structure as my range feeding this one. But then idan kaga an zo an dauki wannan area din, to aka bada haka, to price zai iya zo ma wajen nan, right? Idan ya zo ma wajen nan, then it will align bearish for continuation to the downside. So the same thing I'm also expecting on the 4 hour time frame kenan a Euro USD, saboda nan wajen akwai ɗan ƙaramin imbalance due to wannan fundamentals ɗin da aka samu. So a wajen nan akwai inefficiency, price zai iya filling ɗinsa before coming for this high. Then if you want to do a counter trend, zaka iya neman trade ɗinka a wajen nan and you follow it, but it's a counter trend because the pro trend is bearish until price take out all these highs. Then we'll understand that price want to like start changing character. But as far as this price action is concerned, I'm bearish and I want to see how price either break structure for continuation or come for these highs before continue to the downside. So on gold, something unique happened on gold, right? Last week was kind of I don't know, I took trade on gold share. I took trade, but then abin da ya faru shine Monday, Tuesday, like gold ya yi dumping massively. We ba mu wani much opportunity da za mu nema set up a Monday, Tuesday, and like I told you, concern for a very long time, I was looking for this low, even on the monthly time frame, right? I was looking for one low in kamar yadda na gaya muku, it's an inducement from last 2 months ago. Is it last 2 months or last 3 months? Yeah. So our price came and created this low, right? Due to fundamental events that are happening, geopolitical events that's happening. Gold yeah, dropping massively and created this low, and we can see how last week took out the low. So the next stop for gold now is for it to come for this liquidity, then one inefficiency in the kasa. And like I told you, if the geopolitical events continue, we are going to see how price is going to like come for this imbalance fair value gap and the Kyoja. So on the weekly time frame, you can see we are strongly bullish. We are strongly bearish, right? We are very bearish. But then you have to be careful because what does price usually do? Price usually yana zuwa ma external liquidity ne from internal. Price ya zo ya dauki wannan internal din and ya zo ya cire wannan external din. So one thing that can happen is price can decide to come back for this area like this before continuing to the downside, which I'm not anticipating because this is my protected low and high. There's a reason. If there's any way that's like on the weekly time frame, you see a weekly candle close above this area to almost have a change of character, price is going to come for a deeper retracement before continuing to the downside, because there are various zones I was in the price is where I'll cover. Right? So if we go on the lower time frames, za ku gane abin da nake faɗi, amma pay attention to this important low that price took out, right? So what I'm anticipating is like aggressive continuation to the downside, but then price can decide to consolidate within this range, within the range of this candle before deciding whether it's going to drop or whether it's going to continue to the upside. But in whichever case, I don't want to see price take out this high, right? I prefer to see it continue to the downside. So on the daily time frame, you can also see it's kind of makes sense, right? This is the range. Like I told you last week. Last week I was anticipating for price to come for this before we drop, because I knew we were going to drop, right? Market around me dropping. But then I was not expecting this aggressive drop. Now so actually price has more on a high than them before like we start selling to the downside. So but some trade. But last week but some early trade, but I think I had a late trade, which one was in profit. I think it was on Friday. On Friday about any trading. One was TP and the other one was a break even. Yeah, something like that. So if you're in my Telegram group, I believe you saw the trade also. So um after like Monday, I think it was Monday, right? Monday gave us this candle, this particular candle. So I was like thinking Tuesday will come for this high, because Monday was the accumulation, then Tuesday should come for this high before dropping. But then price just manipulate above the Monday highs, then drop aggressively. Wednesday drop, then Thursday was the like midweek reversal, and Friday close as a contraction. But I don't trust this CRG contraction because it's kind of in the middle of the range. But then gold can decide to just start selling next week aggressively and come for this low. So the abin da nake anticipating a gold, right? This is my protected high. This is where I'm going to have my change of character in case if price come above this area that I put a red dot on, then mun samu change of character and price makes decides to go for a deeper retracement before going to the downside. But one thing that can happen next week is price can decide to use this one as an accumulative candle, like contraction candle, sorry, contraction, like the CR2, the C2 candle, right? Then drop immediately next week. There's just nema confirmation ne shi a cikin wajen nan and start dropping aggressively to the downside, right? Because a CRT is a CRT, the low ya cika criteria din CRT, this is a fair value gap a wajen nan. There's a fair value gap a wajen nan. Although ɗan ƙarami ne, so there's an imbalance a wajen nan shi ma saman nan. So you mark it from the top of this candle to this area. So this is an area of interest and price is respecting it, right? So price can just decide to drop immediately. But if price decide to do this, I don't think I'm going to like trade it, because I don't usually in the buy like something like happens, but I don't like trading on Monday. I don't like trading on Monday because I want to see what Monday does before I like start looking for my setup within Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So particularly in also Nagami Monday is a right in this case, because I still prefer to see price come for these highs. Yeah, I want to see price come for these highs before like dropping. I would prefer that honestly, because I don't trust this area. But then it can decide to start going to the downside. I'll just let it be, or I'll just see how Monday goes, right? And why am I saying that? It's because of this 4 hour structure. Look at it. 4 hour structure and then clearly sees everything, right? It clearly sees everything. Because look at this. This is a protected high we have before price drop aggressively. This is the Tuesday high. Kongani. So I want to see exactly this thing happen. This thing happen, right? Because these are equal highs, right? Wajen equal highs ne a wajen nan. So ina so na ga yanda price zai either like ya taking ɗinsu out then align bearish for continuation to the downside, or and people that do trade CRT, if you see it close below this area, in Coca price are clearly below this area, then that's your confirmation for sell, because price is coming from this imbalance, taking out this inefficiency and stuff like that. But me personally, I would prefer to wait for price ya zo ma wannan high din nan, ya zo ya filin wannan imbalance din, because this is like, I don't know how to explain this area for you. This is the area that is closest to the protected high. And look at this price action here. So I prefer to see price sweep these highs, the previous week high, then come for this area, then align bearish. Then here one that she need the best way, and I'll start selling. And if price violates this and break as a breakup structure, then we are going to see gold going for a deeper retracement, possibly coming for these areas before continuing to the downside, right? But then gold will do what gold usually do. So I'm going to pay attention to Monday and Tuesday. You need to like be serious and see what price do. Then idan ka samu good confirmation, then you start selling, because I'm still bearish until price take out this high, right? So that's gold. And for our time frame, BTC, BTC has been doing what BTC wants to do since last 2 weeks. I didn't trade BTC, and because I didn't see any trade to take, it's so BTC has been setting a lot of traps, and thank God I'm just kind of avoiding it. But Kunga, yet price Yazuma area and then I called it, right? Like from last 2 weeks, I told you that BTC is going to come for this area because this is an important low. There is no way BTC is going to leave this area, and I'm still anticipating BTC should go for a long ride this year around this 40 something, below 40 something, and possibly coming for this area, because it kind of makes sense on the monthly time frame. Kungan da aka zo aka samu sweep of liquidity a wajen nan, and this is just a pullback because price has taken out a major liquidity area, and a lot of people have been trying to like buy BTC from here, and I've been telling them that it doesn't make sense, because if you look at the order flow, it's just transfer of money, transfer of money, transfer of money, and it's just going to continue going to the downside. Har sai an samu what major like change of shift in market structure to the upside, which I'm not anticipating anytime soon. So you can also see how weekly time frame aligns. Everything checks, right? So the fact that price even came and took out this low, right? This low is from last how many months? Is from January. One low then is from January and February, and you can see how February 2nd, and you can see how last week we finally took it. So it's obvious that BTC is going to pull back within this range to seek out internal range liquidity, then align bearish for continuation to the downside. Particularly, this is the most closest resistance. So, by the concern, the BTC, the gold, BTC, the gold, yana respecting the support and resistance, so say. So this is the most closest resistance. Not like I trade support and resistance, but then it's kind of makes sense for price to like react to that area. Then I'll start looking for confirmation. But to me, I'm going to pay attention to these gaps that are here, because this is a huge gap. There is no way price will chill without at least coming back for above 50%. That's right. And because that's how I kind of trade. So I want to see how price come back to like the premium area before selling. And that's the same thing I told you from last week, that there's no way I'm going to start selling BTC at where it is. I'm going to wait for at least a decent pullback within the range before I start looking for sales, at least above 1 9 imbalance, then preferably the 1 9 chicken 1 9 imbalance. And if price aligns bearish, I'll start selling, because sometimes like price will just go without you, right? Price will just go without you, because I was like ina neman like swing trading ne tun daga wajen nan, tun daga area ɗin nan. Wancan week ɗin idan kun tuna, you can go back and watch the video, my first outlook video. You can go back and watch it. Za ku ga cewa I marked this area and I told you guys I'm like kind of looking for this area. If price react to this area, I'm going to swing BTC until price took out this low. But kun ga abin da ya faru, price just kind of left without me, and I'm not about to start chasing price. I'm just going to wait. I waited har sai da aka cire weekly targets ɗin ba tare da an dawo an ɗauke ni ba, because this makes sense. And I've been looking at BTC, I've been watching BTC tun da aka yi inversing wannan major in like liquidity area ɗin nan, wannan inversion fair value gap ɗin nan. If you have been with me even before YouTube, you would have known that I was calling this inversion fair value gap even before it happens. I told you that any day price inverse this area, then BTC is going to like dump for a very long time before it's pulled back. And you can see I took some trade here, and I think I took some trade around here to target this look. But ever since then, that's 4 weeks, yeah, almost 1 month, I've not had a single trade on BTC, and it's cool because it is what it is, right? You are not about to start chasing price, and you can see how price is coming. Yeah, so maybe next week I'll just stay out because I'm not a fan of counter trend, right? If not, I would have looked for a counter trend to this area, but then I'm just going to wait and see how price is going to come back to this area and align bearish. Then I'll start selling by shi kaɗai ne paid, and then I keep trading by. I trade Euro USD and I also trade gold. So I believe I will see a setup day. But if I don't see setup on all the pairs I'm trading, kawai zan haƙura ne har sai lokacin da price ya bani pro trend ko kuma naga an samu major change of character, then I will start looking for like buys. But for now, duka pairs and then keep trading, I'm looking for sales. And if I don't see sales, I'm not going to like force any trade. Euro, USD, gold, BTC, duka I'm looking for sales. I'm looking for sales. And babu wanda ya bada wani like irin major change of character hakan nan to the like break of structure hakan nan to the upside. Babu wani pair din da yake nuna mun sign cewa za a je ma deeper retracement, right? So if there is no like I'm just going to like irin zauna in ci gaba da jira insha Allah, because I just understood it's not about the amount of time you trade. Quality trade is what is going to kind of pay you hakan nan. So instead of taking some random counter trade hakan nan, it's better na zauna na jira har sai lokacin da price ya ban pro trend, then I'm going to execute without any waiting. Allah yarda. So this is what I'm looking for on BTC, and I think wannan shine ƙarshen weekly outlook ɗin kenan. Let me kind of review everything before ending the video. On BTC, I'm going to wait until price not coming to this as far as this high, no, at least around this area. One in fair value gap, because here aligning the weekly inversion fair value gap. So I'm going to wait to see how price is going to react to this area. Then I'll start kind of selling to the downside. And I don't trade support and resistance back, but you can see it also aligns with this channel. So it kind of makes sense. Around this area, Risha, I'm going to like look for my trade a wajen. Idan kuma bai ban ba, I'm just going to sit out and continue looking like what's happening, because I'm suspecting BTC will come for a deeper retracement saboda shi ma ya cire important low, just like on gold. Duka sun cire important lows, right? So idan basu ban aligning, basu mun aligning bearish ba, like there is no way. The thing is, ba trading da kuke gani is kind of, it's a bit hard to learn to master, right? But then when you understand what you are doing and you are ready to start following your rules, but wallahi everything will kind of be easy for you. You won't have mental stress hakan nan da abubuwa da yawa. I'm looking for this area, right? I'm looking for this fair value gap, right? So abin da nake so na gani shine in ga price yana zuwa haka, like we all know haka price yake tafiya fa.
So idan price ya zo cikin point of interest ina ɗin nan, in nan wajen nan da nake expecting ya zo hakan nan, to har sai ya ban change of character ban da trade, har sai ya ban switching market structure ko kuma shifting market structure ban da trade. Because one thing that it can do, it can just continue going to the upside har sai an like sai inda ya ga dama ya juya. But da zaran an ban market structural shifts a 4 hour time frame ko a 1 hour, this is daily time frame. So in na je 1 hour time frame naga an ban market structural shift hakan nan, to there is no way, there is nothing that is going to stop me from selling. Even though if price is going to buy, I'm going to look for my sell within this high and this low. Wannan low ɗin nan da na yi marking da wannan high ɗin, high last high da aka ban da last low ɗin da aka ban da ya changing market structure, wannan shine sweep of last sweep of liquidity, right? I'm going to like look for my trade within this high to this low. And idan na ga short term high hakan nan wajen nan, na ga wani duk wani bearish period da na samu a wajen nan, be it fair value gap, be it breaker block, be it menene order block, duk abin da na gani a wajen zan nema entry ɗina a wajen, maybe lower time frame confirmation kuma forwards continue selling. Ko da a ce za a ci SL ɗina ba matsala, I will do a proper risk management, right? Because an riga an ban confirmation. This is my first confluence point of interest. This is the point of interest I choose, right, to pay attention to. Market ya zo point of interest ina ya ban change of character. What's remaining, right? The only thing that is remaining is for me to either insert limit order. If the zone is very clean, I'll just put a limit order. Especially idan ya zo a time frame kill zone ɗin da nake trading, maybe New York session ko London session hakan nan. Ya ban wannan area ɗin nan, I'll just put a limit order. Idan ya ban clean order block, for example, I'll just put a limit order, my stop loss above this area and sit aside. Idan bai ban clean zone ba kuma zan yi marking OTE zone ne kawai, from this high to this low, OTE zone will be around this area. I'll look for lower time frame confirmation, which is another change of character at 15 minutes kenan ko 5 minute time frame, and take my trade. Period. Do my proper risk management. Ko da a ce zan ci SL, wallahi ba zan damu ba, because I follow my rules, I did everything right. So idan na ci SL, fine, I will just sit aside and let the market do what it wants to do. Because idan kaga an baka confirmation kuma aka ci SL ɗinka kuma market ya ci gaba da tafiya, then it's just market trying to manipulate you or trick you into doing something stupid. Just sit aside, right? So that's what I'll be waiting for on BTC, right? And on gold also, this is the area I'm paying attention to. Wannan area ɗin nan, kamar yadda na gaya muku, I'm not interested in this CRT. It's a valid CRT. If you want to trade it, you can trade it, but I want to pay more attention to the 4 hour time frame because it's kind of makes sense to me, right? So this is my point of interest. The same thing. One is a local high. I call it a local high, right? Because this is the 4 hour time frame a wajen nan. So abin da nake so na gani shine Monday, idan Monday ya buɗe zai iya yin haka, sai ya haka, yi tapping, sai a ban change of character, because this is the last low, right? In aka ban change of character hakan da aka yi pullback aka dawo within the range, I will look for my trade within this area. Maybe in babu clean zone wanda na yi trusting, irin clean order block ko breaker block ko fair value gap, zai marking on wannan area ɗin, sai na jira price ya zo above the 50%, which is the OTE zone. So idan price ya shigo cikin wannan OTE zone ɗin, there is particular thing I will look for, because OTE entry, idan babu clean zone a cikin OTE entry ɗin, abin da nake nema shine on the lower time frame kamar 15 minute time frame, zan nema steam change of character haka, then I will enter on the anything that market give me, QM, breaker block, fair value gap, or just a limit order above the 50% and start selling aggressively a cikin OTE zone ɗin. So this is how I used to do it, and this is how I used to like kind of trade, right? So wannan gold kenan, and like I said, this is what I am looking for on the 4 hour time frame. So say wanne kuma Euro USD shi ma the same thing. I want to see how price come into this area, give me confirmation for sell, or price should come for this, then align bullish to come for this area for sell. But I'm not going to participate on the bullish run if that happen, because that will be a counter trend to me. And DXY also, Yeah, I'm just going to use DXY for reference. Banner trading in DXY, as you all know. So I only trade Euro USD, Gold, the BTC. So yeah, I think that will be the end of this video, inshallah.